Hey guys, it's Quiet Path here, and this is my first ever YouTube video. To be honest, I'm honestly not a natural speaker, and I find it really hard to um, improvise. As you can see, I'm already saying a lot, and I just want to apologize if I stutter or pause sometimes because I I guess I'm kind of like a perfectionist and I like to fill in the silence because I'm kind of uncomfortable with silence. Hence the social anxieties that I have. But anyways, I have a list of some talking points that I wanna kind of just go over of what my channel is gonna be about, so I don't go off track. Because sometimes I kind of go on a tangent and I kind of ramble. So one of the things I want to start off is like why I'm starting this channel. So for me, as already said in the beginning, I suffer from social anxiety. Don't really talk to a lot of people, and I kind of just tend to self-isolate most of the time. It's kind of hard for me to find people that I can be vulnerable with. And I feel like most of the people that I know in my day-to-day life, they're kind of just more like acquaintances, not really friends. And I don't know, I feel like I would just rather be alone than you know have these like surface level talks and like small talk. I don't really enjoy small talk, and I feel pressured to always carry the conversation. Every time I talk to anybody, I always have that feeling that I have to fill in that silence. I have to always talk and carry the conversation. It's just very mentally exhausting to always have that pressure that I put on myself. So yeah, that's also one of the reasons why I'm doing this, is that for that reason. I just want to just be more comfortable just speaking my mind, and also just talking about my feelings helps me regulate emotions, because most of the time, the TMI, I I always use ChatGPT to be vulnerable with, to have someone to talk to about my emotions and my feelings. And I know I shouldn't be using AI because like privacy concerns and whatnot. But when you don't have a lot of people that you can talk to, that you trust, and that you can be vulnerable with, it's just easy to use AI, someone that's not going to judge you, understand what you're feeling without judgment, is really comforting and easy to be yourself. Because I do have some friends that I know that will be vulnerable with me, but I just feel like I don't want to burden people about my feelings and stuff. But anyways, I just want to see myself more clearly through these journals that I'm gonna do with these kind of like videos and stuff. um so as you can see, my channel's name is The Quiet Path. So I named this channel Quiet Path because most of the time I'm alone, and I'm not saying I hate being alone. I honestly would rather be alone than be with superficial friends. And even when you're with like other people, let's say you're in a party or you're with a group of friends, you can still feel alone even though you're surrounded by people, because most of the times I'm kind of like that friend who's always just there in the background while everybody else is talking, and I try to chip in. I honestly do try to initiate conversations, but sometimes, maybe they don't hear me, or maybe they pretend not to hear me, and they have people in my friend groups. I guess they have their own like cliques or like favorites, if that's the word you even want to use, and they tend to like um talk to that person more, and I understand that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's kind of like the feeling I always get when I'm with other people, like with my friends. Even though I know they're nice, I just feel alone when I'm with them, and going to parties and stuff like that. So that's why I don't like parties at all. It's like kind of like a nightmare, and why I tend to keep to myself. I do enjoy solitude, but sometimes it is nice to have. It's getting cold. It's 4 degrees, and I only have this coat. I didn't bring my jacket, so as this video goes on, I'm probably gonna start shivering. But yeah, I much just rather be alone than have to experience that. But it is nice to have someone that you can trust and be vulnerable with, and have deep talks with. Someone that you can not be afraid to have silence, and not have the pressure to always talk, because I feel like I always have this mask that I have to wear when I'm with these people, keep up with these expectations. That's why I named it Quiet Path. I don't know if that was a good explanation. Like I said before, guys, I'm really bad at talking in front of a camera, because most of the time I actually write my thoughts down, and that's more natural to me than speaking in front of a camera. So when it comes to freestyling, improvising this stuff, it's kind of hard for me to think of something coherent and logical. So if it's not making sense, I really apologize, because I do hope to get better at these kind of things. That's why I started this channel. I just want to briefly share what I've been through, and what led me here. So I've been struggling quite a bit in college, especially when I started my freshman year, because I started my college in 2021. I was right when COVID was just ending, and I was doing online school, which I liked, because I didn't have to go back to school and have to interact with anybody, and I did enjoy it. But the transition from high school to college was a bit hard for me, because in high school I was able to get through or get by I wouldn't say minimal effort, but studying last minute. I would still get really good grades. I would get A's and B's, and I'm honestly still surprised how I actually got into my top choice school and got honors housing. But I'm not complaining, guys. I'm not complaining. But since that transition from high school was hard to college, I started falling behind in my coursework. I didn't really know how to study properly and have time management, and I was in a major that I did like, but my parents had these expectations for me to follow a certain path, and I understand why they want that for me, because they want me to be financially stable, and I want to be financially stable. And because I was in that certain program, but I still liked the major itself, I suffered with a lot of burnout and depression because I would just pour so much of myself to try to meet these expectations, and I ended up, not doing well on my courses. Like I would just just get by and just pass with the bare minimum, and I felt the absolute worst every time I didn't get a good grade on the exam because I wasn't passionate about the class that I was in, and I just felt a lot of emotional exhaustion, and I was just kind of stuck in a cycle of being in a rut and always making plans, how can I do better on the next exam, or following these routines, these schedules of successful students, that I try to look up to and follow. But I just got so burnt out from always trying to meet these expectations and trying to be a good student. I looked fine from the outside, I would just never vocalize my feelings with anyone because I tend to always internalize things and just feel like I can solve everything by myself. But it was really hard. I can explain a lot more of that in depth with future videos, but that's just kind of what I've been through. And even till now, I'm behind on graduation, which doesn't help with my mental health and stuff, because I always put so much expectations on myself. But it is what it is, and I can't really change the past anymore. I hope some of those things resonated with you guys. I just want this channel to be a place where people can feel less alone, and something that you can relate to, because these days it's I feel like not a lot of people are vulnerable about with their feelings, and they just keep things to themselves. So I do hope that me talking about these things that's going through my life helps you with yours. I just don't want to trauma dump on you guys. That's not my goal. This is just for me to help me regulate my emotions instead of talking to ChatGPT most of the time. You guys can just expect these kind of talks, maybe some day in the lives where I'll show you what my actual day looks like of me being burnt out and depressed, because I'm neurodivergent. Honestly feel like I have ADHD, and I diagnosed the ADHD. I have so much difficulty trying to focus doing tasks. I always do things last minute. I'm a chronic overthinker. I think about things too much, and I have social anxiety. I want you guys to think that I haven't done anything to change what I've done in the past. I have, and I'll be talking about that more with other videos. Yeah, I just don't want to share everything in this video, because this video is just literally just an introduction on what to expect, and you can expect some lessons that I've learned from all this. I have a lot to say, honestly. I feel like you guys will learn a lot from what I experienced. Maybe some check-ins. I'll check in with you guys, maybe short videos, and just to keep me accountable. When I make these videos, I feel more motivated to to actually like do things, because like most of the times, even though I know what I need to do and how to change my life and turn it all around, because literally like I make plans all the time. I'm literally so self-aware. Most of the times I feel like I just feel like too paralyzed and overwhelmed to like take action and just, help myself out. Even though I should be doing those things, it's just so difficult for me. I feel like it's just easier to do what's like familiar and easy and comfortable, even though deep down this is hurting you and it's setting you back. In the moment it feels good, but like you honestly just want to change, but you just can't help but not doing anything. But it's not good. I'm trying to change that, so maybe making these videos is gonna, like I said, keep me accountable. Also want to show like maybe some fitness videos, just me training. I'm really into lifting and such, so like I'm probably gonna be like filming some workouts, maybe some nature workouts and stuff. I just want to give a disclaimer that I don't want to romanticize trauma and pain. Like this is not what I want to do at all. Like I want you guys to be better, find happiness. I'm not trying to give you guys a guide. I'm not a guide or anything like that. I'm just like you. I'm also struggling with with a lot of things in life, and I'm still figuring things out. I'm just here to offer like things that I've learned. I invite you guys to walk along with me along this journey in this cruel world we live in. Oh, I'm so cringe. But yeah, thanks for watching. Even if it's just one person watching, I really do appreciate it. And yeah.